Now we are going to focus on the styling part. Right now our data is coming in one column, and this is not how I want my UI to be. The way I want my UI to be, it should have a grid layout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my CSS powers. We're already using Tailwind. So all we need to do is just use Tailwind classes. So let's go back to our code, and cards list is the component from where our UL is getting created. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some classes here. Now to have the grid like layout, I will be using a CSS property named Flex. If you doesn't know what is Flex, I would highly encourage you to go and read about Flex. For this video, I will just give you a quick summary. Flex helps us in arranging our data in either row or column. By default, it will have the behavior of row, which means is all the data will start coming in one single row. So because we are using Tailwind, I can just go ahead and use the class which is Flex. Now what will happen is you will see all the data is coming in one row, which is we want. But the problem here is there are three problems actually. The first problem is all the data is coming in one row, and also I'm not able to differentiate between each item. So I will try to solve this problem one by one. So first I will focus on the differentiating between each item. So our every li is coming from card. So I will go in my card component and add some styling here. So the first thing is I will add a border. So I need a border width, and I want color to be black. I will have some padding also, so that there would be some space between the border and the text. And I want width also. So I'm gonna have fixed width 64. So this is the change I did. And now you can see at least we are able to see each and every item separately. Though it's not a great UI, we are gonna fix it. But with this, I want to also highlight another issue which just came, which is our horizontal scroll. Now this horizontal scroll is a bug, and it got introduced only because of the Flex. Now why? The reason is, as I told you, Flex default behavior is row. With that, its behavior is that it will fit all the items in one row, and it is not gonna break or wrap the items into new row. So this is the default behavior. But what we want is, we don't want it like this. So to change that default behavior, all we need to do is just no wrap. Now what will happen is that the moment you will see, oh sorry, no, wait. Oh gosh, wait. It's flex wrap, not no wrap. So the moment you will do flex wrap, it will come in the new rows. So our that horizontal scroll is gone, and you can see it is coming little bit better, but still it's not great. The reason is there's no space between the items. All the items are left aligned. You can see a white space here. If I will zoom this out, you can see. So I will start fixing all this. So to have the space between each and every item, again with Flex we have a property gap. I can use that, and what it will do is it will add a beautiful space between each and every item. And then for center align, I will use justify center. So you can see that this is coming. Now you can see that there is no space between our search and our grid. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just add margin top 4, and you can see now the space is coming. So this UI is looking much better, but as we will move ahead, we will do more and more changes as required. One last change I really want to do is I want to have the border here of every li rounded. So for that, all I need to do is just go here and have rounded dot slash, not slash, hyphen empty, and you have rounded borders here. So yeah, this is looking good. Now what we are gonna do next? What we are gonna do is we are gonna work with the data. What it means is we're already using the name, but we need to see that what all data we can get from API and put it in our UI. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to inspect element, dev tools and network tab, do a quick refresh, and I can see this is my request going and this is my response. So from here I'm using name, but I can use like status, species, and image. I will pick these keys and data, and I am gonna put in my UI. So let's go back to my card, and here what I'm gonna do is I will just copy paste these 4 times. So the first thing is I want here a span, and this will be status. I want name, and then what I want is I want image. So image, source, alt, and then here I will have span. Okay, so this is fine. I can have alt character dot name. This would be species. This would be character dot, I think it was image. Yep. So let's go back to our UI, and you can see that the data is now looking much better. Again, UI. If you will see, it's very hard to differentiate between the heading, basically name, and the rest of the text we have. So now what we are going to do is we are going to start styling this. So what I'm going to do is I will start with this span. I want it to look like a pill. So I will add a background color here. So class name bg teal 200, and I will have a padding 1, and I want to make the font small, so text small, and you can see this is looking fine, but I want the rounded border. So I will have, because pill has like rounded border, I think I did a typo, so rounded. Let's come back, and you can see now the problem is there is no space between this text and image. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my image and have margin top and bottom. So basically I want vertical y-axis margin, and now I have the space. So this is looking better. Now let's come to the name. I want this to be big, so I want to change the font size to extra large, and I want it to be bold. So you can, now let's see, this is looking much better, pretty good. Now let's come to the status. Now we have 3 type of status here. We have alive, we have dead, and we have unknown. Now what I want is I want to change the color based on the status of the character, or instead of color I will use the icon. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use library React Feather. This is the icon library. I'm gonna use it. So you can see this is here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use circle to do this. So now here I'm gonna import circle from React Feather. Now I'm gonna create a method. That method will be responsible to take the status and check that what status it is, and based on the status it will return us that specific icon. Now I'm using only one icon, circle. The reason is because I'm gonna change the color. If it is alive, it will have green circle. If it is dead, then it will have red. Otherwise it will have gray. So all I need to do is just one icon, and with the properties I can play around. So get character status, and it will have status here, status here, and we are going to use switch case. So switch status, the first case would be alive, and what it is gonna do is it is gonna return us circle. The size would be 15 as of now, and color would be green. That's it. And then I will have dead. For this I will have red, and this will be, last one will be our default. So this will have gray, and let me format this. Now where to call this? Here where I'm using character.status, all I can do is just call it here and pass character status. Okay, let's go back here, and you can see that green and red and gray is coming, but visually it's not so great. I need a fill here so that we can, in the first look we can see, okay, this is green, and now it is looking much better. Okay, now one last change I want to do here is to have both in same line. So what I can do is I can just use this span. You move this span before the character name. It is not coming in one line. Why? Span is in lines. SVG. SVG is display block. So this is the problem. So what we can do is we can pass a class name here inline so that it can come in one line. And let's go back and see. This is done. So now our UI is looking much better, and what we have learned is definitely flex, definitely using Tailwind classes. If you are wondering that how I know so many classes, it because I worked with Tailwind little bit. If I have to advise you, I would say invest your time in learning CSS and Tailwind like libraries, utility frameworks and all this. This will be very easy for you, but please learn CSS. I know so many things in styling because I know CSS, and that is why I know that which class to use when I am writing Tailwind code. Okay, cool. Now what we are gonna do next is we are gonna start implementing the features. So if you will go back to our this page from where we started, we are at this step, UI step. We are done with this. Now we need to implement the features. So what we are gonna do is we will start with search, and then we will go to the pagination, and at the end we will again look at the styling, that what all styling we have to fix. Okay, so we will start implementing search.